Hi friends, this is your plant lover Neil and you are watching Plants My Love. In today's video, I'll be preparing bone meal. If you do not know what bone meal is and how it's beneficial for the plant, I have already made a detailed video explaining what it is and how to apply it. So check that video out, it will be there in the video description. Anyway, today what we'll be doing is I'll be showing you step by step how we make bone meal at our home. This will be detailed step by step process. I have already done the main process, that is drying out the bones for 15 days in direct sunlight. If you do not have direct sunlight like we have here in the subtropics, then you can use an oven or an electric dehydrator. You can also use a pressure cooker to make the bones brittle. So let's get started. Okay friends, so this is my collection of bones in my solar dehydrator. You can see we receive quite a lot of sun, and this has been, I'll open it up and show you. Here, this is the haul. You can see these bones we have got from the food that we have eaten, and this we have collected around 15 to 20 days of worth of food. This contains bones from chicken as well as, you can see this goat bone. In India you call it mutton. You can see these big bones, and I have dried this for around 15 days. That's why you can see it's so brittle now. And now we'll start the process for making bone meal out of it. Let's first take all these bones inside. Just tied it up. And the way this solar dehydrator works is basically, you can see this, it's inclined over here. So what this inclination helps in doing is the moist air rises up, and from these vents, you can see over here at the bottom there are vents here, 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 here. So the moist air from the moisture of these bones, they rise up and they exit from the top over here. And because of this inclination, the lighter moist air exits the box and only the dry air remains. So continuously this process happens and the content of the box keeps drying. For this to work on such small scale, you require a very high amount of sun, and luckily we are in the subtropic area, and that too in an arid climate where the moisture itself is quite low. So for this kind of climate, this is extremely efficient way of drying things. So let's start the processing of this. It's quite hot. Okay, so you'll need a couple of a sack. I'm using a plastic sack, as you can see, and I'll be using these stones. You can see these two stones to crush them. So the first step will be rough crush. I'll not be making it into a powder. The powdering process we'll do using an electric blender. The first step will be to make it a rough small bones. We'll make it in a smaller size. So simply empty out the content like this. Like that. All the bones. There. Keep it in the center. Now we'll wrap it up with this plastic sack like this. And again one fold like this, one fold like this. And now since this surface is granite, we'll be crushing it between the stone and the granite. So first I'll use this smaller stone like this. You don't have to make it extremely fine powder, just small pieces of bone so that we can crush it up in a blender. Now I'll use this flat one to cover a better surface area like this. Now we'll see what is the condition of the bones here. And as you can see, there are a couple of bigger bones still left. It's breaking apart. Now we can actually use the stones directly on this like this. And see how brittle it is. If you would directly do this without drying it, it would not be possible to break it so easily. Okay, now let's use this stone. Almost all of them have crushed. So this is the rough crushing. This much is good enough. Now we can make it a fine powder in a electric blender. I'll use a hand blender. This does not require a lot of power because it's so brittle. We can easily crush them in an electric blender. So let's do that now. Okay friends, so this is the electric blender. You can see over here. This is a hand blender. It has got 2 power mode, as you can see. And we'll be crushing it using this blade. It's not a very heavy duty blade, but because they are so brittle, it can be crushed easily in this kind of blade. So let's start with adding little bit of the mixture so that we don't overload the machine, and you come to know how much power it needs. Okay, so we simply have to do like this. It's done. Now let's switch it on. We'll start it in low power mode. Okay, I'm pulsing it so that we don't overload the motor. Okay, let's see how much it has ground. As you can see, it's quite fine now. There are some big chunks still remaining, so we'll add more of this so that it gets more contact point. You can see there's still some big chunks remaining. It will get ground slowly. Okay, you can now see it's quite fine. We'll filter this out. I'll bring a filter so that only the big chunks remain. We'll be using this mesh as a filter. You can see it's quite fine. And we'll simply use this container to collect the powdered bone meal. Let's remove the blade. You can see this is the fine powder. The finer you crush the bone meal, the quicker it will be absorbed by the soil. So that's why I'm trying to make it as fine as possible. Okay, now we'll crush this in the finer powder. We'll add the blade. Add some more big pieces. Add a bit volume. So the same process has to be followed till we get the full powdered bone meal. It will take some time, but it's worth it. So much fine bone meal powder has been collected. Wow. Okay friends, this is the end result. You can see how fine the bone meal powder is. Some of them could not be crushed, only this much part scores ground. I think they are quite hard. Anyway, major chunk of it has been grounded in this fine powder. If you like this video, don't forget to smack that like button, share this video with your friends and family, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel Plants My Love. We'll be posting more such informative gardening guides and much more. So make sure to subscribe to it. Thanks for watching friends. See you later. Bye.